All right, we're live. Welcome, everybody. This is the AmberStreet.com live show. This is Steampunk Star Raisin of AmberStreet.com here in Hollywood, California. And I'm here with Daniel Bertison, formerly of Daniel's Star Trek. How's it going, Daniel?
Hi guys, how you doing? What's up? It's July 16th. It's Monday, July 16th, 2018, about 5:58 p.m. here. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little rainy though. It's been kind of hot, humid, and now it's raining, so it's cool. I love it when it rains.
Oh, okay. So it's raining up there in Ontario.
Yeah.
What's the name of the town in Ontario where you're at?
Oh, I live in the country. It's Bellwood.
Bellwood. Okay. How far is that from Toronto?
Oh, it's about like 3 hours away.
Okay, so we talked off air. You wanted to talk about the new Doctor Who season 11, right?
Yeah.
Season 11 trailer.
Yeah, the Doctor Who Series 11 teaser trailer. It's really, I think it doesn't show very much, but it's really good in its own thing, in its own way.
Well, I mean that's the whole point of a teaser. Teaser trailers don't show very much; they tease.
Yeah.
It seemed a little bit campy to me, and it seemed like they were kind of ripping off the Flash. And a lot of people were joking, saying that this is like the forgotten season of the Flash. You know, you could almost say this is like Flash season X. But yeah, because like she grabs a pizza and then she gives the pizza to somebody else, and then I don't know, she's whizzing around. There's like electricity in the air. It really kind of reminds me of the Flash, the CW's Flash. It kind of seemed like they ripped off the concept of the special effects of the Flash, where the Doctor is moving so fast that she's now got Flash superpowers. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I found the trailer to be a little corny, but you know, I'm optimistic that it could be good. I mean, it's been a long time in waiting. They announced last December that they were going to have a female Doctor, and I thought they were already going to start the new season by now. So
Yeah.
when is the new Doctor Who season starting?
Probably in September or October.
Okay.
So yeah, it's I'm still very upset. Like I told you on the phone, I'm still really upset. I tell this everybody on the line. I'm so angry that they got rid of Capaldi. I mean, the poor guy. He wanted to stay on for years to come. You know, he wanted to stay on for
Well,
years to come.
they said that toy sales were down and ratings were down. And
Yeah,
you
but
remember Doctor Who went on a 1 year hiatus while they were trying to reconfigure the show.
yeah, but it wasn't his fault though. I mean, it was the lackluster Series 9. That was just like really. I mean, I remember watching Series 9. Like, didn't really like it. I mean, it could have been better. And then we had a whole year of no Doctor Who, just Class. And you know how Class turned out, right? Have you seen Class?
No, I never did see that.
Oh, it wasn't that good. It was so bad, it just
It didn't look
disappeared.
that good. It didn't look that good.
Yeah, it disappeared into the time stream, never to return. So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, that was one of a couple of different Doctor Who spinoffs, right? When there were
yeah.
another
There
one.
was Torchwood. There was Torchwood. I love
Well,
Torchwood.
there was three Doctor Who spinoffs. There was Class, there was Torchwood, and there was that other odd one where the actress died. What was?
Yeah, Sarah Jane Adventures.
I never saw that one either. I don't know. Just I don't have cable television. I used to watch Doctor Who on Netflix, but then BBC America took it off Netflix because BBC America wants their own streaming content to compete with Netflix, and I find
Yeah,
I find that very annoying. That you have like Amazon Prime has exclusive content, Netflix has exclusive content, CBS All Access has exclusive content, Hulu has exclusive content, and it's like you're gonna have to spend $10 a month for just freaking one channel. I don't
hmm
like that. I don't like that.
and now Warner Brothers is going to have its own streaming network with exclusive content too.
Yeah, and that's silly. That's just gonna aid and abet with bootleg streaming. sites. But yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'm interested in is Disney All Access because I want to see the live-action Star Wars TV series. That's pretty much.
Disney has, I think, a large interest. They own a part of Hulu, so Disney, I know, is starting to spin off a lot of their stuff to Hulu.
Yeah, I've never been on Hulu. Have you?
I've had trial version of it before. It's okay. I found the interface a little bit clunky. It's not as intuitive as like Netflix interface, but they do have exclusive content that Netflix doesn't have. I mean, Netflix has lost a lot of shows. Like Netflix used to have Doctor Who, they lost that. They used to have Archer, they lost that. You know, they don't get a lot of the movies that have come out. Like I remember I recently canceled my Netflix. I remember I wanted to see Tom Cruise the Mummy because I didn't bother to see it in theaters because it looked terrible, and I wanted to see why it was so bad and why it bombed. But no, that's only on Hulu. That's not on Netflix. So it's just annoying because you know, who wants to spend $40 or $50 a month to have access to most of the content and essentially only have 4 or 5 channels? But yeah, eventually all television will move to the internet. That's the future. That's where it's going. But they're trying to make it more rigid structure like television, where you don't have a choice in what shows you want to watch. It's just whatever crap they spoon feed you. But anyway, that's my rant on streaming. Right? The current state of streaming shows is
because like nowadays, all if you don't want to nowadays, all you got to do is go on Putlocker. You don't necessarily need cable or satellite or antenna. I don't know if people still have antenna. I used to have antenna back in the 90s. Well, you know, people they just need a computer connection and Putlocker, and that's all you need. You don't need to pay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You know, so yeah, streaming is the future because it's much more. You know, you can see it all the time, and you don't have to pay for it. You know, it's good. It's, you know, no hassle, which is great. I like it. And so yeah, so you liked well, you didn't like the Doctor Who trailer very much, did you?
I thought it was kind of quirky. It was okay. I mean, it just rips off the Flash too much. It's like, Buzz, she's there. She grabs a pizza. Buzz, she's gone. And then, you know, there's lightning in the air, and it's like, okay, you ripped off the Flash. I mean, that's what it kind of felt like to me. That's not to say that it might not be interesting. I just I didn't care for the teaser trailer that much because it reminded me of the Flash.
Yeah. Did you think that girl eating a pizza was hot?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, she was nice. And then yeah, she looked at the box and she was like, just like her friend took the last slice of pizza, but then the doctor passed by, she opened the box and it was pizza again. I'm like, oh, that's her new power. She has timey-wimey power. She can make people happy with her timey-wimey power. You know, she can refill their drinks or their pizza with timey-wimey. I mean, it makes sense, though, because the Doctor's been traveling through time and space so long. He's been gone up and down the vortex so long. He or she must have absorbed a lot of time vortex power. So, yeah, it makes sense. Maybe she has this new thing. Or it's probably just an effect. What do you think?
I'm not sure what you mean by that question.
Like, do you think this is a new power she has, or do you think it's just an effect that they're doing for the trailer?
I guess I thought it was just an effect they were doing for the trailer. I mean, you know, if you were you're able to travel in, through, and out of time and space, then it can seem like you're speeding even though you're not. Or if you're traveling close to the speed of light and you got a TARDIS, then yeah. But the trailer also didn't make much sense to me. I understand stealing a pizza, but then she gives it to another person. I guess maybe the other person's hungry and the first person's not that hungry. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I should just enjoy it. But it reminded me of something from The Flash. You know, like maybe this is, you could have almost changed the title of the trailer, and instead of putting the Doctor Who logo, you could put the Flash. You're like, oh, this is the Flash season 5. This is a new speedster from Flash season 5. And you could have said, introducing the new speedster from Flash season 5, and people would have bought it. They were like, oh, it's got the same actress who's playing the new Doctor Who. I mean, that's the problem, is it just seemed too much like the Flash. I think it was just a visual effect. I don't think it's like the Doctor's got a new superpower, but I don't know. I mean, if you have the ability to travel in time and space, then yeah, you can probably do that, and it would give you the appearance of traveling super fast, but you're just traveling between points in time and space, and that gives the illusion, because if you look at a timeline as a straight line and you got dots on those lines, and you're like, okay, I got my time machine, I'm going to pop here, and then I'm going to move this dot forward in the line, then you're jumping from dot to dot. And from the observer who observes you coming out of the time stream to a future point in time, that would seem like you're moving lightning fast, even though you're not, because you're just moving between two different points in time through a time stream using a warp in space-time created by the TARDIS or a time machine.
Yeah, that'd be that. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, still kind of pissed they got rid of Capaldi. I hate this.
So are you looking forward to the new season, or you hate it now because
no? I know there's a lot of people. For example, I know there's a lot of people who are angry that the Doctor's a woman now, and they got rid of all of their Doctor Who toys, their DVDs. They just got rid of everything.
That's silly.
Yeah, they just got rid of everything because they're like so pissed off.
Did they put their Doctor Who toys in a landfill?
Yeah, they just chucked it out, and all their DVDs and toys. Like, that's a waste of money, man. That's a waste of money. You spent good money on all that stuff, and it has a lot of memories attached to it, and you just chucked it out just because you're angry the Doctor's a woman now? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't think. Okay. She can't be any worse than Colin Baker. Okay, look, Colin Baker wasn't the best Doctor. He was kind of irritating, actually, because he was like, but I wouldn't get rid of everything because, like, let's say they brought back Colin Baker. I'm like, I don't care. So what? Although I know they're not going to do that because he's got no hair and I don't think he'll want to come back. But, yeah. I don't care. Who cares who his Doctor is, I honestly don't give a shit.
Okay.
But anyways, we were talking about time and space, right? And how, like, when you're traveling through space, time can pass by a little faster. You see, this is why I would never go into space. Because I am afraid that, what happens? You're in space, and then something happens. Maybe, I don't know, like, you travel really fast for some reason. And then when you get back to Earth, a lot of time has passed by. For you, not maybe like a few minutes have passed by, but for everybody else, like, it could be like, decades, right?
If you could truly warp, I have an idea of how to build a time machine, but if you could truly warp space and time, it wouldn't matter because, yeah, you can travel to the future and your loved ones that you left behind, like if you're traveling close to the speed of light. But I would do it through like a wormhole in space and time. You would need to create a warp in space and time. You would not need to travel near the speed of light. But yeah, even if that were, it's called time dilation. And even if time dilation were to happen where you warp through and you travel so far into the future that your loved ones are dead or they're very old and you're still young or relatively young, you could get around that by traveling back in time to when they were young again. And so time is non-linear. I believe time and space are non-linear. They're non-linear concepts. Eventually they loop and repeat for infinity. and so you have infinity.
Yeah, but if you go back, let's say you look at you see you're young, you go back, right? You go into space, you experience time dilation, then you go back and everybody you know is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then, or what if you come face to face with, your family and they're all old, right? And you're still young. And then you go back in time to like maybe a few minutes after you left, right? Wouldn't that create that would create a really big problem because, I mean, I think that would create a problem. Like, because
Well, when you travel back in time, you are fracturing space time. When you fracture nonlinear space time, you're basically creating parallel timelines in which, in a timeline something different happened because you traveled back in time, but it's not your own timeline. Your own timeline is still complete to you. You would but yeah, I mean, I have an idea how to build a time machine. You basically you would need two micro singularities. You have two micro singularities. Yeah, and they're in orbit around each other. And you would need to have them under strong magnetic containment. You would need like a magnetic field to be able to contain the singularities and control them. And because they're in orbit around each other, their gravitational influence on each other creates a warp of space and time.
Yeah.
And then you have a third singularity in orbit around the first two, but further out. And again, you would need proper containment and a magnetic field to contain these, and an enormous amount of energy, and a proper chassis and computer interface. And then you can control warp in space and time. You basically create like an artificial wormhole, and you travel to another point in space and time. So it becomes all pointless as whether who ages when and where, because then you could just travel back in time to when they were younger. And you basically creating a pocket environment where you have to bring your own environment with you, because you could be traveling back in space and time where there is no oxygen, and you would need to create your own or bring your own. But yeah.
But
building a time machine is actually not that complex. It's very simple. What's really complex is the energy required for magnetic containment, and where are you going to get the singularities? Are you going to artificially generate singularities, or are you just going to trap some? And even if you could find the singularities to trap to create a warp in space and time, how it would require more energy output than what we have on planet Earth right now to be able to control these singularities without it killing you or killing people around who are trying to contain them. It would, So the first problem with building a time machine is where are you going to get the singularities, and then two, even if you got them, how are you going to be able to tame them, so to speak, or to control them? And without that, so yeah, it's building a time machine is simple, but getting the parts for it is really complicated. That's what I'm trying to say. People overthink things sometimes, and I think they make it more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, the technicals are complicated, and the materials are complicated to acquire, and the energy source is complicated to acquire. But the parts are there. If it's a matter of putting them together. Anyway.
And that's kind of dangerous because you never know. They could bring, instead of bringing you into the past, it could take you to a different dimension.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but like, what if it's a place where nothing exists? It's just like, what if it just takes you to a place where there's like, you're in deep space, you're floating in space, and then
then you warp to another.
Well, no, I mean, what if your machine doesn't?
I mean, it would require a lot of experiments, and you would have to build a test machine without a human subject before actually using it on a human subject and test it, and then see if you can even observe, because you're basically traveling through a wormhole, and if you could observe through the other side of the wormhole. But yeah, it would require a lot of complex testing, but I think it could be done.
Yeah, so it's like yeah, what if you enter deep space, like a universe where there's no Earth and just space? Like, how long can you survive in space for? Like a 90 seconds? What, a minute and a
No,
half?
most people lose consciousness in 30 seconds. There was an astronaut. I remember researching this. There was an astronaut who was in a test chamber and was exposed to an artificial vacuum by mistake. The chamber decompressurized while he was in it, and the saliva, the water in his mouth boiled, and within 30 seconds he lost consciousness. But they immediately got him out, and he survived. But he was able to recall, and he was one of the few humans who was actually exposed to a vacuum. You only can stay conscious for about 30 seconds in a vacuum. And then you have about 2 minutes in which to extract that person from the vacuum. Otherwise, you create tissue damage and probably irreversible damage. Unless you have force powers like Princess Leia, then you could do Superman. You could do Superman in space.
Yeah, that was a bad scene written by a horrible director, Ryan Johnson. I always had a bad feeling about him when he was announced. I was like, uh-oh, this guy, he makes movies, like really, really bad quality movies, man. Like, oh, jeez. I get it. They probably wanted to
And
save money.
now he's doing a whole new trilogy.
Oh, God. We're in trouble now. I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
And you know what? I heard he wants to change everything. Ryan Johnson's going to change the history. He's going to change the Force. He's going to change everything. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
Well, he obviously has no respect for the Star Wars mythology, what's been built up. He's trying to make it all of his own. And you could see that with the way he had total disrespect for the character of Luke Skywalker. And it was totally contradictory to what Luke Skywalker had become in Return of the Jedi. Luke trying to kill his nephew because he sensed the darkness in him. That made no, yeah. Or
yeah.
Luke giving up on the Force, and he just came to the island to die. He even threw out what J.J. Abrams had set up in plot.
Like, what did he set up?
Well, J.J. Abrams had set up, like, why would Luke leave such complicated instructions and how to find him if he just went there to die? And he didn't want to train anybody, and he just went there to die, and he had rejected the Force, and he became a lonely, miserable, disillusioned old man. And it didn't make any sense. But that's Ryan Johnson for you. He just wanted to say, screw the fans, screw the mythology. I got a big ego. I need to make it my own. I need to make it all about me. But the Mary Sue, Gary Stu in outer space, blue milk tits, or well, actually, I think it was green milk. I don't know, blue green milk, alien cow tits, and Princess Leia does a Superman move, and Admiral Akbar dies like a frozen fish in space, and it's no big deal. And who cares about mythology of Star Wars? Let's just destroy it all in one movie. Congrats, that's what he did. He destroyed the Star Wars mythology in one movie, Ryan Johnson. No easy feat, I should say, because they had built up a huge fan base of Star Wars. But yeah, so you said that based on your sources, Kathleen Kennedy is supposed to leave in September?
Oh, yeah. I heard Kathleen Kennedy's going to leave in, like, September. And, and I'm like, wow, it's just cool.
Well, who's replacing her?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm hearing it could be either J.J. Abrams or Dave Filoni, or it could be somebody else. They're throwing names in the air. I'm not sure. But I'm happy that she's gone. I'm happy she will be gone.
I hope they bring in Dave Filoni. We talked about this on the last show. Is there any new news stories this week that you want to talk to about Star Wars, Star Trek, or we already
Let's
talked
see.
about Doctor Who, but yeah.
All right, yeah. So yeah, like okay. Also, like okay, let's see. There doesn't seem to be anything on this. Like, all we know is like they're going to start filming the the ninth movie in like what, a week? I think a week. Let's see. Yeah, probably by like maybe on the 23rd. On the 23rd, but then some people say it's going to start filming at the end of the month, like maybe around the 30th or the 31st. But you know what? Whatever they say, just take it with a grain of salt and say, well, they started filming earlier because whatever they say, they always start filming earlier because they're filming stuff they don't want you to see. So yeah, I'm expecting maybe like sometime next week.
All
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, and also about the live action Star Wars TV series, we talked about this. Let's see. Okay, I told you like there is this thing going around where there's like a leaked little bits of storyline, like concept art, and the concept art shows like X-wings. They're flying through the debris of the first Death Star. So like yeah, the debris of the first Death Star is still there, and they're flying through it. They're probably collecting chunks of Death Star. Maybe they're trying to study it to see how it's being made or something. And also on Endor, there are people studying, or people like around the okay, I don't know how this works. Okay, the Death Star exploded. Obviously, the chunks kind of fell to Endor, but okay, wouldn't they be totally vaporized? They wouldn't make it through re-entry.
Maybe that's why we don't see Ewoks anymore, because maybe when the Death Star blew up, it created so much catastrophic damage to the environment of Endor that it caused the Ewoks to go extinct.
Yeah, Ewoks taste like chicken.
Somebody did the video about that. That the Death Star exploding so close to Endor would have created catastrophic environmental damage, and the Ewoks probably could have gone extinct. Although they seemed fine right after the Death Star exploded. But
they were all dancing.
The one counter theory I heard about that was that the Death Star exploded, but then it also imploded at the same time, which would explain why most of the debris didn't land on Endor. But yeah, I'm not that optimistic about the future of Star Wars. I am more optimistic about the future of Star Trek if they bring back Captain Picard.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do with the Captain Picard series is they're trying to. You see, from what I hear, when CBS and Paramount split in 2006, the rights split with them, right? So Paramount owns the rights to Next Generation. CBS owns the rights to the original series. So that's why they can only stay in that time place, like 22nd century, 23rd century. And Paramount owns the rights to Next Generation, but for some reason, okay, so but then CBS owns the rights to the Prime universe. So it's really messed up. One person owns this, the other person owns that.
Yeah.
And it's really, really complicated. So that's why they got old Spock to pass the torch to the Kelvin crew.
Yeah.
I think CBS is going to do the same thing. Since CBS can't use Next Generation like completely, they can only cherry pick one character and use that character to pass the torch onto a new generation. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Well, I think it'll be like, Geordie, can you help me fix the transporter toilet? Mr. Crusher, can you get me up and take me to bed and shave my ass hairs? Thank you, Mr. Crusher. Anyway, that's basically that's my impression of Captain Picard, Jon Stewart, in a nursing home.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Picard passing the torch on to a new generation, just like Spock passed the torch on to the Kelvin crew. But I don't think they can use the Enterprise. What?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were originally in Nemesis, and one of the deleted scenes, they were setting it up where where Riker had left the Enterprise. So they don't have to use the Enterprise. They can have it where he retired. It would just be cool to see the character of Picard again, and it would be cool to see like what happened to some of the characters after Nemesis.
Yeah. So, yeah, but they can't use the Enterprise, I don't think, because now Abrams and Paramount are using the Enterprise. So they can't use the Enterprise unless they can build another ship for Picard to use that is even more advanced than the Enterprise E. They could always do that. They can call it the Phoenix or whatever they want to call it. You know,
Okay.
and that'd be interesting. And they're also throwing around the Worf idea. You know, Star Trek Captain Worf. You know, I mean, a lot of people.
That was Michael Dorn trying to pitch his own show, but they never picked up on it. He tried to pitch that like 10 years ago, but they never. They opted to do movies instead of another show.
Yeah, I know that. And a lot of people don't like the Worf idea. You know, like for example, ideas like the Worf idea, the Worf TV show.
I actually met Michael Dorn. He was really nice.
Yeah, or a Klingon series. People are fighting that off tooth and nail because they're like, yeah, it's not Star Trek.
There's nothing wrong with doing a Klingon series as long as it's not the crappy Klingons from Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, but like, see what fans are worried about is they're like, oh well, you know, Klingons are warriors. All they do is go around and you know, they're like they kill people or take people's homes. Like, oh,
no, they're Klingon scientists that had already been established in Next Generation. All Klingons are warriors. Some are politicians. Some are scientists. Some are in the medical field. Like, they just have a warrior-based religious cult around Kalen. But yeah, Kalis. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I for the first time in my life, I'm not very optimistic about the future of Star Trek. I'm actually a little bit if they bring back Picard. If they bring back Captain Picard, that'd be cool. But I'm not that optimistic about the future of Star Wars. It just seems like total shit show. Anyway, but yeah.
So, like, going back to Star Wars, like, I don't understand how pieces from the Death Star survive re-entry. I mean, think about it. Those pieces were very small.
Well, pieces can survive. I mean, like the Space Station Mir. There's a museum in Australia that has pieces of Space Station Mir. Space Station Mir crashed over Australia, and enough pieces survived that they were able to put them in a museum. And there wasn't any shielding for Space Station Mir, but there were charred remains of the space station that did survive re-entry and impacted Australia. Luckily, in a remote area where nobody got killed, but or hurt. But yeah, I mean, stuff can survive re-entry, at least fragments of.
So yeah, they're looking for, like, I don't know, like, see what I think what the rebellion are trying to do in this. I mean, supposedly take it with a grain of salt because, you know, it could change, but they're looking into the Death Stars, you know, so that they can, I don't know, I guess they want to take the pieces and then they want to reverse engineer that technology so they can create their own super weapon. I mean, that sounds kind of cool. It's a story revolving around the two Death Stars, and I like that idea. If it happens, it sounds very interesting.
I don't know. I just want a good story. But anyway, yeah, I think that will be it for today. We're going to wrap it up. But thank you, Daniel, for joining me. And this has been the AmberStreet.com live show for July 16th, 2018. You have a nice day. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got one last thing. I want you guys, I don't know if you can see. I want you to join my Steampunk army. Oops. This is going to be my new flyer for LA Comic Con and Dragon Con this year. And I'm going to get people to join my Steampunk army. Join my Steampunk army. Subscribe to my YouTube. If you like this content, please share it with other people and all that jazz. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they started filming. They started filming The Flash last Monday.
Oh, really?
The Flash season 5. Hopefully, it'll be much better than the Flash season 4, which was very lackluster. I mean,
well, it was anticlimactic. The last two villains, like Savitar and the Thinker, been very anticlimactic. It's like, they were easy to beat. You know, they didn't seem to be much consequence, and
yeah,
hopefully it'll be better next season. But yeah.
It's great. It's
Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Anyway, so thanks a lot, guys. Please rate, comment, share, and all that jazz if you like what I have to say in this content. But this is, you have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years. I will.
Bye.